Hello and welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. Our top stories in the news tonight. Protesting Oriental Quarries workers call for the dismissal of Labour Minister BRENDA TAMBATAMBA. The UPND alliance solidifies ties amid concerns of falling apart. Infamous Honey Bee Pharmacy Limited directors nabbed. In international news, Sudan flooding destroys thousands of homes. And in sports news, Zambia ranked among top 4 African countries in chess.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
A 20-year-old male youth of Lusaka's Chipata compound in Manevu constituency has become destitute after his relatives allegedly sold the house left by his father. Smart Mwanza, who is suffering from epilepsy, says his relatives only gave him 200 kwacha upon selling the house at an undisclosed amount. Mr. Mwanza, who has been squatting at a dilapidated building in Lusaka's Woodlands area, only survives through picking bottles that are sold to recycling companies. He seeks the support of the Department of Social Welfare to incorporate him into a social protection scheme.
They say every face tells a story, and Smart Mwanza's expression has many versions that range from rejection, lack of education, and most of all, deprivation. Mwanza has complex issues to handle at the age of 20, as he lost both his father and mother, including his only sister, and according to him, his relatives from the extended family only gave him 200 kwacha upon selling the house that was left by his father. He suffers from epilepsy, and most of the times he has seizures, and it is the reason the right side of his face was burned when his late mother left a pot with boiling water on the brazier. He is not on any social protection scheme, and currently he is squatting at a dilapidated building in Woodlands belonging to one of the embassies. He says he has never been to school and he only survives through picking bottles that he sells to a recycling company. In recent years, incidents of property grabbing have reduced, but it is also true that they still exist.
Even manje banana na dadi wafaja wasita ziwa wonse no botenga ita nyumba wanje na kuigulisa ine kumbasa ko 200 na kunuza ati 200 ukasake yalendu kasonke yalendi manje ne ngakwa ni seso yero ni sinsebenza stechana ngakwa ni sesonkera yalendi ya 200. So wasoenda ku school we.
A concerned citizen, David Kamanga, tells Camnet TV News that Mwanza's living conditions are not conducive.
One room yake nenzo nkalamu, then after mwali wajaba dozo wake amai wake pese ba rent amenenzo tinga kutu something to amene tuzantandi zako mlife yake. Then kunabwira babururu wa tate wake no kudisa ya nyumba. I think some 3 months ago. No mchosa mulija ya one room ija. Then manje namuza tienda nampata 200 kwacha tirendo ka renting ya nyumba. So chilani wa maningi na so ya naona maybe lekani uzeko ziko itandizeko uyo mwana kulibe kwa nangaende ya 200 kwacha izamuchitashani
nyumba wanagulisa
3 months ago uyo help yafunika mwana maybe kumurishira kuti bamubwezere ya nyumba back then as a ponkara because like this azambonkara bwanji sakudya ndarama zochosa kusasebenza. So how can we do this life of that guy?
Our efforts to get a comment from his relatives could not materialize before broadcast time, but we will continue to follow up the matter to get to the root of everything. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Oriental Quarries Limited employees Friday protested over their 5 months salary arrears and poor working conditions. The over 100 employees put their tools down, demanding that the company pay them and provide them with personal protective equipment before resuming work. The visibly disappointed employees also called on President Hakainde Hichilema to replace the Minister of Labour, BRENDA TAMBATAMBA, for what they term as her failure to deliver according to the workers' expectation. More in this report.
Workers at Oriental Quarries in Lusaka's Chilanga area Friday put their tools down, demanding that they be paid their 5-month salary arrears as well as improved condition of service. The workers have accused their employers of failing to provide proper personal protective equipment, which have resulted in accidents at the place of work, and that the victims of the accidents are never compensated. Despite the poor working condition, these workers are subjected to not being paid their salaries on time and claim they are owed in excess of 5 months unpaid salaries by a multi-million quarrying company.
The church has clocked a year today, and we need to see his action. We are youths. We voted him to power. You know, there's no proper PPE attire in our company. We can't do anything. Just that there are things that we are keeping our families. We are fearing to talk because we are fearing by the end of the day you'll be chucked out from the job.
Tarema kukuka tribe specific month opasira pa ndarama land road. Ino month talipira pa 5, ija month talipira pa 15, ija month talipira pa 25. Kulibena ma bonus. Na kwa 3 years mkampani mnona ma months, but kulibena specific date yatuma for the ndarama.
The workers have also accused the Minister of Labour, Brenda Tambatamba, of not delivering to the expectation of the Zambian people, who say they have continued being exploited by some investors at the watch of the Labour Ministry. They have since urged President Hakainde Hichilema to consider reshuffling some cabinet ministers who they claim are just warming their seats.
Tambatamba is not working. She is not working. At least the shuffle. Put a person, appoint a person who can work. Yes. We are suffering at Oriental. Our graduates are not being paid. Mr. President, we need a reshuffle for the Minister of Labour.
Mwechina kwa nina chino changa chino inafalakwa cheka 3. So, mani nizamu ngalapa inawana wanga. Yes. Apa sova meti chitapano. Ise kujaza tupisha njito. Bandi kungala kwa bwanjuka. That's what
But company representative Chris Malunga claims the non-payment of salaries is as a result of failure by their clients to pay the company. He cites Energy Regulation Board as one of their clients owing the company huge sums of monies, and says once the clients pay the money, the company will be able to settle the salary arrears.
Now I can assure you that by between 16 and 17, they'll get their 1 month. Then we move on from there. It's difficult. We are in a difficult situation because we are not receiving our payments. You get my point? We can only pay out of those payments. Yes. We have a challenge. This is a challenge we're having. Big payments, which can clear off this. But we can't say we are a professional company. We cannot say that this one owes us this money, this one owes us this money. I think it would be unprofessional for us. If we start mentioning even the figures which are involved, this problem we're having, it's one time it can be sorted.
The questions that one may ask is, how do employers expect their employees to survive if they are not paid their salaries on time? Additionally, why have workers in Zambia continued to work under very difficult circumstances without proper PPEs to protect themselves, yet investors continue to make huge sums of monies at the expense of their employees? Are the authorities doing enough to safeguard the interests of the common man? Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Director spokesperson in the Ministry of Information and Media, Tabo Kamwana, has charged that government will not tolerate any corruption during any form of employment being handled by government. Mr. Kawana says the UPND administration will ensure that the right people are employed in the right positions with the right qualifications without any form of corruption. He notes that the complaints received from the recent census recruitment are genuine and the people charged with the responsibility are seriously looking into this matter. More in this report.
In a few days' time, the United Party for National Development was officially ushered into office after winning an election today last year. With that said, the UPND has been put on a pedestal by many stakeholders analysing, criticising and praising where it's due. Issues such as the high cost of living, corruption allegations, employment opportunities are being used as a yardstick to measure how the UPND has performed thus far. Director spokesperson in the Ministry of Information and Media, Tabo Kawana, appeared on a radio program Friday where he responded to some of the concerns, assuring the Zambian people that the next 12 months will be better than last. Mr. Kawana says corruption is nowhere near the UPND administration's operations.
Nomba na tulanshanya na bankongole na batwerera ko kwe batoketa mwalipirero mukalipira mairo kaishe shenda na tukweterero ejo twapangira tukalipira enkongole twarabika ko muri tumbi na tumbi toko batifise ko shani fete ko ubuyantanshi fipelo ko na bantu apa kupemena ko batirero ni August. By August next year, if in tempo fililero tifefikaba kufika August next year. If anything mukanje wanaka kumukanje mukaputula mukanje bako batifika bana bwino ukuchirane poshiri pali kano kanshita. So kulanda kwena tuleme umfwa. Na bantu fe balelishanya tulefi umfwa. Tatule umfwa fi. Filafenya balelishanya abantu. Na ifwe benefe tulepitamu. Oko bashita eko tushita. Efyo balia efyo tulia. Echo tule bombesha na maka. Ukwebati fintu fiweshani fiwe wino. Dibe $1.2 billion. Tuyatwa isapo ifwe twabatu la upanga uwine musebo ukufuma kulisaka kufika $1. Nombo yomtengo teo. Ulia wine kontakata. Abwela gena tiyo na lachi tapali 400. Mwamona difference. Pakobati liya yali apamu yali fiya kuyakanya abantu. Ifefe tulekana ubupu ubuka volala bushibire nsala bupompwe. Patulifwaya tulifwe ndalama shabu teko shibombele gwino abantu pantu abeni bandalama ebeni abantu ifilama mwene chi project cha Putula Road twali kansa tuleipanga road patuleipanga gwino nomba under a new project which is a PPP, public-private partnership.
And the director spokesperson also touched on the complaints received regarding the recent census recruitment, which he says the relevant officials are looking into the matter with the seriousness it deserves.
The previous administration did not look after the young people. And therefore this opportunity is an opportunity that almost everybody wants to be a part of. There will be complaints, there will be accusations, there will be problems around the recruitment. But it is not also correct to dismiss that these complaints are not genuine. It is important to investigate and get to the ground and correct, because there are many complaints coming out. It's not just the issue of nepotism. It is also the issue of people saying, during the aptitude test, I got 87%. And my colleague got 32% and failed. But my colleague is in class, and I am not. So it is those things that we want to ensure that the correct thing is done.
Mr. Kawana is confident that the next 12 months of the UPND administration will be better, stating that come 2026, the Zambian people will escort President Hichilema to renew his mandate. The media will, however, continue to follow the statement if indeed the next 12 months will be better. Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, has rated its one-year performance since ascending to office on the 12th of August 2022 at 120%. In an interview with Camnet News, UPND Deputy Secretary General Gertrude Imenda says no government can boast of successes like the current administration in a period of 1 year, which includes the recruitment of over 40,000 civil servants in the recent recruitment of teachers and health workers. Meanwhile, other stakeholders have also weighed in on the UPND's 1 year in office, among them Democratic Party, DP, Office Bearer Judith Kabemba, who says the UPND needs to improve on communicating their policies to the nation. More in this report.
I therefore declare the said Hichlema Hakainde S to be President-elect of the Republic of Zambia.
On this day of 12th August in 2021, many citizens stayed at work at night to hear the outcome of the presidential elections, which were tightly contested by the United Party for National Development (UPND) and the then-ruling Patriotic Front (PF). The UPND scooped the seat with a voter difference of over 1 million, as it had over 2.8 million voters, and the PF stood at over 1.8 million voters. UPND Deputy Secretary General Gertrude Menda has given the current administration a score of 120%, citing the mass recruitment of teachers and health workers, as well as the increase in Constituency Development Fund (CDF) from 1.6 million to 25.7 million kwacha, among other things. Ms. Imenda was speaking to Camnet News.
12 months down the line, give UPND and the new government and the president 120%, really, because nobody has ever achieved that. And mind you, very soon we shall be employing in the security wings and so on. So even the jobs that we're talking about, this one has taken the teachers and medical, health workers, has taken quite a bite from the unemployed. But then when we're going to employ also in the security wings, it means more will be employed.
In a separate interview, National Democratic Congress NDC faction President Savoy Imboela says the only notable major achievement by the current administration is the reduction of cadarism.
So these are the things that we are seeing. Look at the issue of health in terms of medicines. There are no medicines in hospitals right now. Things like Panadol, you have to buy. Syringes, everything you have to buy in the hospitals right now. So procurement of medicine has been very, very problematic. So these are the areas whereby, first and foremost, they should have scored in. But they haven't. The issue of cadarism, that's one area where I give them a score. You know, in as much as they have not ended cadarism, the truth is that they have significantly reduced it.
Meanwhile, Democratic Party DP Office Bearer Judith Kabemba says the current administration has not been efficient in communicating its policies.
So what the UPND needs to do is to make sure that they should create a center flow of information, and that center flow of information should then disseminate to the people, because even the Bible says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." So if people are not being given the right information, the right knowledge, people will perish. The appointment of women, I think we did mention when the appointments were going on, that as Democratic Party, we feel that not more women, not more youths were appointed.
In adding his voice, UPND Deputy National Youth Chairperson Trevor Mwinde has also spoken out in the area of youths.
And then we also have seen a lot of inclusiveness where youth empowerment skills by Ministry of Science and Technology, they are being given and awarded in different constituencies across the country, in about 150 constituencies so far. From the data that which we have from Ministry of Science and Technology, we can confirm to the citizens that government is doing everything possible, and our department as youth leaders, we are happy. This far, in 1 year, we have seen a lot of youths participating in the development agenda of this country.
Citizens, among them the youth, are waiting to see the change they voted for as they cast their vote in numbers. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Union of Government and Allied Workers has demanded for a civil service that is free from political interference. Addressing the media in Lusaka Friday, Union President Muyawa Kabisa says the union is confident that government will ensure that cadres are far from the operations of the civil service. And the union has expressed concern at the high cost of living, which they say is against President Hakainde Hichilema's promise that food should be available and affordable to the people. More in this report.
Cadreism had become a norm during the reign of the Patriotic Front administration, where cadres were seen controlling the civil service, as well as civil servants being manhandled by some cadres. Since the United Party for National Development UPND administration won the 12th August 2021 general elections, expectations have been high from the Zambian people, considering the many promises made prior to the general elections. And the Zambia Union of Government and Allied Workers, who spoke at a press briefing held in Lusaka Friday, has since called for the depoliticizing of the civil service to ensure that cadres do not continue to harass civil servants.
We have to guard against the return of cadre interference in the running of the civil service. We do not need a situation where cadres will start interrupting government operations to harass government employees for their perceived positions.
Among other issues discussed, the union has called for the government to deal with the high cost of living, which they say President Hakainde Hichilema promised to address once he assumed office.
The president emphasized that food should be available and affordable to the people. We remember the promise that a lower cost of living was soon to be realized. 12 months down the line, ladies and gentlemen, citizens and workers are still struggling with the high cost of living. Therefore, we expect the New Dawn administration to address the cost of living as a priority.
While many former civil servants are still running battles with the authorities to have their pensions paid, while others have died without their pension benefits being paid, the union says it is in agreement with the withdrawal pension benefit and is hopeful that a tripartite level agreement will be reached.
The current pension benefits from NABSA do not meet the aspirations of the members. This is something we have always emphasized, and we have said that unless it is reformed, employees in this country have rejected the current NABSA approach to payment of pension benefit.
The union also touched on the need to ensure that the increased constituency development funds fulfills its intended purpose by putting up a system that will ensure that resources are put to the right use. Issues of street children were also raised as a matter of concern and have since called on a system that be to find a solution to the growing problem of street kids. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The National Association of Medium and Small-Scale Contractors, President Edgar Siaka Choma, has charged that the National Road Fund Agency has in the last 12 months failed to meet the aspirations of the contractors. Addressing the media Friday, Mr. Siaka Choma notes that hope was restored when a new board was put in place but has not met its obligations properly. He adds that it was further expected that the board will ensure active initiatives aimed at building a sustainable fund for all and a clear roadmap on clearing the huge debt owed to contractors and build a pool of funds to facilitate new road construction contracts and road rehabilitation works which have not happened. Mr. Siaka Choma notes that while promises have been made towards the contractors, there has been very little movement to suggest reasonable actualization of real participation of contractors in meaningful economic activities, at least in the foreseeable future.
Contractors are financially distressed, and the quicker they supported them back to their feet, the better for the economy in general and the sector in particular. As contractors, we have had a good share of inspiring promises from the Road Development Agency, RDA, ranging from the rehabilitation of the Lusaka Ndola carriageway, as we have already stated, assorted roads around the country, especially in western and northwestern provinces, but this hasn't taken us anywhere. Lately, there were also some routine maintenance tenders which were advertised after a long dry spell. The long wait for the results of the tendering processes are not helping matters. We will soon get into the rainy season, and vegetation control will be a necessity. Even with all this, there has been very little movement to suggest reasonable actualization of real participation of contractors in meaningful economic activities, at least in the foreseeable future. This situation is dire and worrying. We therefore want to implore government to help these institutions so they can better serve stakeholders.
The Anti-Corruption Commission, SEC, has arrested 3 directors of Honeybee Pharmacy Limited for uttering of false documents. The Commission has arrested Abdurrahim Motala, 41, based in Chipata, Zakia Motala, 42, and Imran Runat, 40, both of Lusaka. They have been arrested on 1 count for uttering a false document, contrary to sections 352 and 347 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. The arrest is in connection with a contract awarded in August 2019 by the government of the Republic of Zambia through the Ministry of Health to Honeybee Pharmacy for the supply of 22,500 health kits to health centers countrywide at a contract sum of $17 million United States dollars. Anti-Corruption Commission spokesperson Queen Chiwe confirmed the development to Camnet News. A 49-year-old man of Lusaka's Linda compound has admitted before the Lusaka Magistrate Court to defiling his biological daughter and fathering a child with her with his wife's consent in a ritual aimed at making the family wealthy. Roderick Nyambe, who is facing 1 count of incest, has told Magistrate Judith Chiyayika in his defense that his love for wealth led him to a witch doctor who directed that he sleeps with his own daughter in order to become rich. Mr. Nyambe has also narrated before court that things for him and his family massively improved until his wife's family demanded that he pay them damage for impregnating his own teen daughter. More in this report.
A 49-year-old Lusaka man from Linda Township is before court on allegation of defiling his own daughter until she bore him a son, has heaped all the blame on his witch doctor. Opening his defense after being found with a case to answer, Roderick Nyambe, who is facing 1 count of incest, contrary to the laws of Zambia, has admitted before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court of engaging in an incestuous sexual affair with his daughter with the consent of his wife, and says the move was made after a discussion he had with a traditional healer from Chiwombo district who gave him some charms. Mr. Nyambe, a farmer, is alleged to have started defiling his own daughter when she was only 8 years old. Now the victim is 17 years old with his son, who is 3. The victim was coerced into incest by both parents as a means of making the family rich. The courtroom was left in further shock after the accused testified that for 3 years the case was never reported to the police and that he and his family lived a lavish lifestyle not until the matter was known by his wife's family, who demanded that he pay them 6,000 kwacha but failed to pay the whole amount. The 49-year-old man has admitted to the allegations, stating that it was not his own making but an agreement that he and his wife, Shalina Mugala, who is currently on the run, made in order to better their lives. Narrating before a half-packed courtroom, the accused said he did that to his own daughter because he wanted more money, and when it was discovered that his daughter was pregnant, he and his wife accused a named boy at his daughter's school of being responsible. In his cross-examination, Mr. Nyambe said it was against tradition and nature for anyone to engage in any sexual intercourse relationship with their own biological daughter However, what led him to such an act was because him and his wife desired for more wealth. The matter comes up on the 31st of August 2022 for judgment. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Constitutional Court has thrown out the case in which 7 opposition Patriotic Front members of Parliament and their 2 former counterparts were seeking an interpretation from the court on the fate of parliamentarians whose election results have been nullified but appealed against the verdict. The court in its ruling says the case was overtaken by events owing to the recent ruling that the court gave in the case where the Law Association had petitioned the Attorney General and was seeking the same relief. In this matter, the PF members of Parliament commenced a judicial review against the Speaker's decision to chase them out of Parliament on the grounds that their elections at the time were nullified by the lower court. More in this report.
The Constitutional Court has ruled that the case in which 7 opposition Patriotic Front members of Parliament and their 2 former counterparts who were challenging the decision by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, to disallow them from taking part in parliamentary proceedings pending determination of their appeal was already ruled upon. The Constitutional Court has dismissed the case while holding the view that the same has been taken by event owing to the judgment it had recently delivered in a case in which the Law Association of Zambia petitioned the Attorney General and sought similar reliefs. In March 2022, the Constitutional Court ruled that the PF members whose elections were nullified by the High Court but appealed remain in Parliament. On the 7th of December 2021, the Speaker, Nelly Muti, ordered 9 PF members of Parliament whose elections were nullified at the time out of Parliament until a determination of their appeal was heard by the Constitutional Court following a point of order that was raised. However, this decision by the Speaker prompted the affected members of Parliament then to rush to the Constitutional Court and challenge the said decision. Laz had also petitioned the court for similar interpretation on whether the Speaker at the time was on firm ground to take such an action. The 7 PF members of Parliament and their 2 former counterparts that had filed the petition were Lunte Member of Parliament Mutoto Kafwaya, Nakonde Member of Parliament Luka Mumba, Lubasenshi Member of Parliament Taulo Chewe, Mukushi North Member of Parliament Christopher Chiwe, among others. On the other hand, former Kawushi Member of Parliament Bowman Nusambo and former Kwacha Constituency Member of Parliament Joseph Malanji were also part of the said petition. However, the court recently upheld the lower court's decision to nullify their elections, a move that has now called for by-elections in the 2 respective constituencies. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
This is Camnet Television News. We'll take our first commercial break. We'll be back with more news.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
On Monday, 15th August 2022 on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua with his guest, Mr. Sean Tembo, PEP President.
You should only help people who need to be helped. That way, you'll be properly utilizing, scarce national resources. So if I was the one running the affairs of this country, yes, I would still pursue the same policy of, universal education, free education. But the way I would implement it is that, I'll come up with a comprehensive social welfare system.
I'm your pastor and, of course, host.
As they discuss developing Zambia as Zambians.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Residents of Lusaka's Kabanana site and service of Mandevo constituency are facing a water crisis as the area has not had a single drop of water for 1 week now. In an interview with Camnet News, the residents say the area only had running water once a week since 2007, but the flow entirely stopped 1 week ago, leaving them in despair as they have to source water from neighboring communities. Meanwhile, the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company has responded by giving them relief water, which will be given 3 times a week in the meantime, as it tries to source about 8.5 million kwacha needed to work on the water infrastructure in the area. More in this report.
Easy access to clean and safe drinking water, which is regarded as one of the very basic human rights, is not easily accessible in some parts of Zambia, including in the country's capital city, Lusaka. This is the case of Kabanana site and service in Mandevo constituency, where the residents have told Camnet News that they have been receiving water only once a week since 2007, but that the water flow has stopped altogether for the past 1 week now.
Rebu tikangi wokula tikula manzi pakuti usebenzise 10 buckets a day, you have to buy kaya mnini 20 kwacha tivuka masiku ano amabohona badula na manzi yao.
Ever since nkaja mulikuwa na 13 years tewe nangu but mazi ikoncha benkukuti. So tipempa kwa mtitanji zetu kumani.
Mabafa ni ya munyumba so tavutika. Nikankana kandrama kangona tende tikule manzi instead ya kutigulire pa kudya abana.
Meanwhile, Kabanana Ward Development Committee Chairperson Cletus Musonda has partly attributed the problem to vandalism of water infrastructure by members of the community.
Most of the connections are illegal here, so we need to make sure that with our help, we're able to we should identify the illegal connections that have been done.
In a separate interview, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company Acting Manager for Marketing and Public Relations Shamba Muzungu says the problem has been caused by a growing population against the available water infrastructure. He says about 8.5 million kwacha is needed to correct the situation in the area, funds which the water utility is still trying to source.
So I think the issue is to mobilize resources, and we are engaging the government of the Republic of Zambia through the Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation, and obviously our cooperating partners to see how we can mobilize these resources and invest in infrastructure in this area so that we can improve water supply to the residents of Kabanana. The
residents will in the meantime be provided with relief water 3 times a week from water bowsers provided by the water utility company. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Mazabuka Police Officer Commanding James Muluwa has disclosed that all police officers from the torched Neganega Police Station have been withdrawn from working there. Speaking when he appeared on a radio program at Baita FM Friday, Mr. Muluwa described the burning of Neganega Police Station as barbaric, urging members of the public to desist from taking the law into their own hands even when they feel aggrieved. He cautioned that police will not tolerate any form of riotous behavior from community members. Meanwhile, Mr. Muluwa says a search has since been launched for pallbearers in 2 incidences in Mugoto and Neganega. The officer commanding says the police will not rest until all the people behind the riots that saw the burning of a police station and other people's property are brought to book. In both instances, the pallbearers were allegedly led by the coffins they carried to individuals suspected of causing the demise of the deceased persons. In the Mugoto incident, an 80-year-old man was lynched by an angry mob, while in the Neganega case, the police station in the area was reduced to ashes after people protested a move by police to remove the coffin of their loved one from his suspected killer.
The district commissioner in Chikankata area, almost Chikankata and Mazabuka, they share almost similar borders, where the first instance, a coffin which refused to be buried, and then the coffin is believed to have gone to a house where the witch, purported witch, was staying and was found there. So now the officers, together with the district commissioner, rushed to the area in order to discuss or negotiate with the members of the public on what was happening on the ground. So when they arrived there, they found a lot of people and they were enraged about what happened. And from their action was that they didn't want to see the witch alive. As they were, the DC and other people were in somewhere else discussing matters on how they should prevent people reacting and beating up the suspected wizard, they only found that, they only saw that that person who they wanted to rescue from members of the public was already set ablaze. And there were a lot of people at that funeral. So what do you expect from the few people? 4 police officers and the DC to do? It was impossible, practically impossible. And that is why members of the public behaved that way. But nevertheless, we are investigating the matter and we've already arrested 3 out of the people that behaved like that, and we'll arrest more who were involved in that crime. And we'll make sure the law takes its course.
The Zambia Consumer Association, ZACA, has described the current status of the public transport sector as a mess which calls for transformation and good laws to protect commuters. In an interview with Camnet News, ZACA Executive Director Juba Sakala says the inconsistency of the Road Transport and Safety Agency RATSA on bus fares will not go down well with commuters, stating that consistency is needed to bring sanity, order and attract more serious players who can invest and make commuters get value for their money. RATSA Head of Public Relations Frederick Mubanga on Thursday in a statement announced that bus fares for August 2022 have been revised to a 2 kwacha reduction for local routes from the initial 5 kwacha reduction, among other changes. This move follows wrangles between commuters and bus operators, as the bus operators have been citing the 5 kwacha reduction as being unsustainable for their business. The changes have come about following adjustments by the Energy Regulation Board (ERB) July month end, which saw the reduction of petrol from 26 kwacha 75 ngwe per litre to 23 kwacha 19 ngwe per litre, and of diesel from 28 kwacha 1 ngwe per litre to 24 kwacha 87 ngwe per litre.
We also observed that there are a lot of grey areas in the operations, the laws, and so on and so forth. So going forward, the Zambia Consumer Association, we are going to advocate for reforms, meaning that we should have a serious transformation in the passenger and public transport business, because at the moment there's a mess, and these reforms will be able to bring sanity, order, and also attract players who are going to invest and better, the services, so that consumers can get, value for their money. At the moment, the consumer is at the mercy of an operator, which is quite unfortunate. So we need to do serious transformation, and also we need to see that the infrastructure where these people operate is a better one. So all these reforms, we include everything that we're trying to do.
The full UPND Alliance Council of Presidents Friday held a meeting at the Presidential Community House where pertinent issues of national importance were discussed. UPND Alliance spokesperson Daniel Shimonza notes that among the issues discussed are relating to the UPND Alliance in government to foster the core values of uniting the country, restoring the social order, the broken economy, and restoration of the rule of law. Dr. Shimonza told Camnet News that the Alliance partners all committed to ensuring that these values are realized for the good of all citizens. In attendance was the Republican President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, Her Honor the Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, Madam W.K. Mutalena Lumango, and Alliance partners.
As UPND Council of Presidents, we had a meeting today on the 12th of August 2022 to deliberate on various pertinent issues to do with national issues and the subsistence of the Alliance. We are excited at a productive and successful meeting that we had, and we are looking forward for consequent meetings that are going to follow to tie up every loose end that pertains to the Alliance. I think that going forward, the alliance is going to deliver on the promises that we promised the Zambian people to restore the rule of law, restore the economy, and restore the social order of this country, and ensure that we deliver prosperity, peace, and security of this country for every Zambian.
We'll take another break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
On Monday, 15th August 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua with his guest, Mr. Sean Tembo, PEP President.
You should only help people who need to be helped. That way, you'll be properly utilizing, scarce national resources. So if I was the one running the affairs of this country, yes, I would still pursue the same policy of, universal education, free education. But the way I would implement it is that, I'll come up with a comprehensive social welfare system.
I'm your pastor and, of course, host.
As they discuss developing Zambia as Zambians.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98, and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Unrelenting rains and flooding have affected tens of thousands of people in several states across Sudan, forcing them out of their homes. At least 25 have died in flash floods. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs estimates that nearly 6,000 houses have been destroyed. In other news, incumbent President João Lourenço of Angola, who was handpicked by Dos Santos, but then turned against his former boss, on Wednesday accused opponent Alberto Costa Jr. of having a financial relationship with the ex-leader's family. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
Bashir Rahama is still searching for what he can salvage from his home. It collapsed on Tuesday after flash floods in Mikelab in northern Sudan's River Nile state. It's the result of days of heavy rains in the region and rainwater from the east overflowing streams in the town.
The rain started in the morning. It stopped raining for hours, and then while we were opening the streams for water to pass, the floods hit us. It didn't stop till the next morning. The rainwaters usually just flow through the stream, but this time it went over it, and no barrier or stream was able to stop it.
Bashir's home was one of more than 1,700 homes destroyed by the floods in Mikelab town alone. More than 3,000 homes were damaged in Berber County, in what many here say has been the worst destruction they've seen. Mahmoud Abdullah shows us what remains of his once large family home. Where rooms once stood, now only rubble remains.
There were 2 bedrooms there, another 2 on the other side, and a kitchen there. The water came, and in less than an hour the houses collapsed. We didn't even have a chance to take out anything, because we were busy making sure the people got out alive.
Some have left their homes to seek shelter after losing nearly everything, but many others have stayed behind. The destruction has left families out in the open. Many say they'll wait here until the end of the rainy season to rebuild their homes. But that may take some time because more rain is forecast in the coming days, and there are concerns about waterborne diseases. The rain and floodwaters have damaged sewage systems, and it's hard to find drinking water in some parts of the town.
There is no access to clean drinking water or to a health clinic. My daughter is now sick in a tent nearby while we try to salvage what we can, but there is no medical treatment available.
At least 15 people have been killed as a result of heavy rains and flash floods around Sudan. Those who survived say they're not sure how they'll be able to rebuild their lives after losing so much.
Well, that was Hiba Morgan reporting from Berber, and just a short while ago she sent us this update.
The start of the rainy season in some parts of the country. It's already mid-rainy season in other parts of the country, but the devastation is now growing wider and wider to include more counties around the country. And here in Berber, where people have lost most of their possessions, they're still waiting for assistance. People have been living out in the open. They're trying to cope with what has happened on Tuesday. Some of them saying that they're still trying to take out the possessions that they can salvage from the ruins, trying to find higher places away from the floodwaters, because they're expecting more rains in the coming days. Now, they say that they have not seen this kind of destruction before, therefore they're not sure how to cope with the situation. They've lost the local market where they used to buy their vegetables and their food. They still don't have access to clean water, and they're still lacking access to healthcare and medication. So they're saying that it's very hard to deal with the current situation in light of the fact that this is the first time it's happening to them. Well, the government has created an emergency room for the state as well as for other states around the country to deal with the issues of flooding, flash flooding, and the displacement of people and losing their properties. But the issue is, especially here in Mikelab in Berber County, people say they've been waiting for 3 days for tents because they're now out in the open, and that has not been distributed out to them. They say that they're expecting more rains in the coming days, so they don't know how they'll be able to deal with that situation. Many of them still out in the open, many of them still waiting to be able to get food. They say that they're sharing with their neighbors what they can, both food and clean water, but they say they're yet to see any form of assistance from both the government and aid organizations.
Angola's main opposition party on Thursday denied it had received funds from the family of late President José Eduardo dos Santos, an allegation coinciding with the run-up to crucial elections. Incumbent President João Lourenço, who was handpicked by dos Santos but then turned against his former boss on Wednesday, accused opponent Costa Jr. of having a financial relationship with the ex-leader's family. An allegation the opposition denied and termed as a political game. The nearly 4-decade tenure of dos Santos, who died last month, saw members of his family capitalize on the nation's oil riches, while most Angolas remained in poverty. On coming to power in 2017, Lourenço launched an anti-corruption drive targeting dos Santos and his family, a campaign that critics say has failed to live up to its promise. Lourenço is seeking a second term in the August 24 vote, which observers predict will be the tightest since Angola emerged from a lengthy civil war 2 decades ago.
10 years on from the massacre at the Marikana platinum mine in South Africa, justice remains a distant prospect. The shootings, which killed 34 people in total and wounded 78 more on August 16, 2012, were the bloodiest police crackdown since the end of apartheid in 1994. But for us, it's very painful because we know that we lost some parts of ourselves. Now it seems the government doesn't care about us. They're not even trying to do something. It's been 10 years now. Our lives could have long changed for the better. Instead, our lives have become worse. Some of the victims were caught in the fight between strikers from rival unions. Aisha Fandi was married to a security guard, killed in the fighting.
Promises, and up until today is 10 years, and they are doing absolutely nothing for these 10 families.
Gisenane Mambushnoki became the face of the protests at the Marikana platinum mine. He was known as the man with the green blanket. Leading from the front, he addressed thousands of fellow mine workers until he was struck dead. His sister blames the police. The police are the ones that killed my brother because they said that police arrived and shot at them while they were at the copy. There were lots of them. A decade on, an independent police watchdog said the case was still under investigation. Only around half of all claims have been paid out so far.
Let's have some sports news. And in sports news tonight, the Zambia Volleyball Association is ready to host the 4th leg of the Zone 6 Beach Volleyball International Tournament, slated for the 17th of August to the 23rd of August 2022 in Siavonga, and 10 countries will be part of the tournament. Speaking to the media, the association president Nakaonga Kakoma says Zambia has all put in place to host the tournament. Meanwhile, Siavonga Town Council chairperson Given Kwapo says the district is excited to host the international sports tournament. Mr. Kwapo further says the tournament will create an opportunity for the district to showcase its tourism activities. The Minister of Sports, Youth and Art will be the guest of honor. More in the following report.
Zambia is to host the forthcoming 4th leg of the International Beach Volleyball Tournament that is scheduled 17th August through to 23rd August 2022. The Zambia Volleyball Association is ready to host the event that will see 10 countries participating. Addressing the media, the association president Nakaonga Kakoma says Zambia is set to host the tournament. Kakoma has since encouraged the citizenry to come on board and engage in sports of volleyball.
Under Zone 6, we have the following countries: Mozambique, Angola, South Africa, Lesotho, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Namibia, Eswatini, and Zambia. 3 beach volleyball tours have already taken place this year and were hosted by the following countries. Mozambique hosted the first tour. South Africa hosted the second tour, Botswana the third, and now Zambia has taken up the 4th leg of the beach volleyball tours.
Speaking at the same event, National Sports Council Development Manager Lieutenant Gilbert Sinkamba says the tournament will create an opportunity for Siavonga District to showcase its tourism activities.
To host the beach volleyball, and Martin Developers and Builders Limited, we approach them that this is the first time in Siavonga where we are having a beach volleyball. Madam President, I want to attest to you that I've never attended the beach volleyball, and this will be my first time. And Zambia is hosting today. We'll be hosting next week, and we are so excited. Ladies and gentlemen from media houses, thank you very much for coming. You are very important in our country. You are 4th state. For you to create and disseminate information to the general public to know what is happening, what Zambia Volleyball Association are doing.
And local organizing committee chairperson Duncan Seulo gave an update on the progress of the tournament thus far.
Driving force for business success. This year, the Confederation of African Volleyball, CAV Zone 6, has accorded us the opportunity to showcase the beauty of our land, our culture, our heritage, and our wealth. We have a unique opportunity to celebrate our country with 2 international volleyball events, hosting Southern Africa's best in volleyball is an honor and a privilege for us.
The tournament has attracted 200,000 kwacha budget. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet Sports, Lusaka.
The Zambia chess national team has arrived from India, where they participated in the 2022 prestigious competition International Chess Federation. The tournament, which was the 44th World Chess Olympiad, had around 2,000 participants from over 180 countries who battled it out for the top prize, with Zambia earning a World Cup qualification slated for next year after a tremendous performance, and occupied 9th position among the countries that participated. And speaking upon arrival at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport on Friday in Lusaka, Chess Federation of Zambia President Mukubulo Chilufya said the tournament has made the team to be 4th position in Africa and called for more support to expand chess countrywide. More in this report.
August 1st, 2022, Zambia had beaten African champions Egypt at the just-ended World Chess Olympiads in Chennai, India. The men's national chess team took on the Egyptian team in what was a showdown of 2 continental giants. The 4th round saw Zambia beat Egypt on a 2.5 to 1.5 score, and the women's team beat Kosovo 4-0 scores. Friday, 12th August 2022, Zambia national chess team has arrived from India, where they participated in the 2022 prestigious 44th competition of International Chess Olympiads. Camnet Sports was on the ground at the time the team was arriving. And Chess Federation of Zambia President Mukubulo Chilofya says the tournament had made the team to be on the 4th position in Africa.
Sport is equitably disbursing resources and ensuring that all sports flourish in the country. Sir, I'm glad to report that we had a fruitful journey to the Olympiads and that Zambia has qualified to the World Cup next year. Zambia has also produced 2 titles in the female category, so we've added to the number of title players in the country. So now, sir, we've got a new woman FIDE master in Rubuto. We've got a new candidate master in Bethapiri.
Meanwhile, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Art Director of Elite Sports, Gibson Muyaule, said government remains committed to ensuring that there is an improvement of all sports fraternity in the country with equal financial support.
It will be held next year. We were following the performance out there, and indeed, I can safely say we are proud of you. Yesterday we were here again receiving our colleagues who went to participate in the Commonwealth Games, and indeed the PS was at hand to receive them, and indeed we are saying government is really happy with what is happening. Like you said, government is giving equal attention to all sporting disciplines.
I salute you, the Minister of Sport, to produce what we have been seeing off the net in all the associations. Yesterday we were here when we were celebrating our Commonwealth contingent. Today we never phased out. We are sending a presidency to other countries. Zambia is already there. So we are sending it to say all games are equal.
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet Sports, Lusaka.
On that chess note, we come to the end of our news, but the headlines once again. Protesting Oriental Quarries workers call for the dismissal of Labour Minister Brenda TAMBATAMBA. The UPND alliance solidifies ties amid concerns of falling apart. Infamous Honey Bee Pharmacy Limited directors nabbed. In international news, Sudan flooding destroys thousands of homes. And in sports news, Zambia ranked among top 4 African countries in chess. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 to 20. Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own, you were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your body. Thank you so much for watching the news. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.